Yay! Morning, I'll say morning again. So we're going to work on mobility today instead of DMS. I hope that's okay. So we're going to start with shoulder mobility. We've done it plenty of times going forwards. Sorry, we'll go backwards is the direction. But I don't want you to do it fast. I want you to try and go through full range of movement. So I want you to run, if you can, the arms past the ears, back as far as you can go, and then forwards. We're going to go for 1 minute, just nice and slowly, don't rush it. Okay, let's go backwards first of all. So if you can run past the ears and back. It's nice and slowly. The focus is on working through full range of movement. As you go back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. That's it. Nice and slowly. Good. Halfway through. I find it quite hard work when you're trying to go through full range. Good. 10 more seconds. Nearly there. And recover. Okay, we'll come to do forwards in a second. We're going to go down onto the ground. So we're going to mix it up with hip mobility. So lying on your back, knees are bent. So, right, with this one, okay, I want you to have your feet pointing forwards and your knees about hip distance apart. I want you to put your fingers on your pelvis. So find that pelvis bone and then the bottom of your rib cage. And what you can see straight away is if there's a difference between your finger and your thumb on one side compared to the other. If there is, just try and level out the pelvis, okay, for me. Find that position. Now what I want you to do is curl the pelvis towards you using your glutes, and that you can keep your, I like to keep my fingers on my pelvis, and then forwards using your hip flexors. So you're going to tilt backwards towards you, and then tilt forwards, okay? Just keep doing that. Now focus on your glutes, pulling the pelvis back towards you. Focus on your hip flexors, moving the pelvis forwards. It can take a few times of doing this to connect to what muscle groups you're wanting to isolate. Sometimes helps as well if you move your fingers onto your hip flexors. We're going to do this for 2 minutes. So we've done 30 seconds already. Make sure the knees aren't drifting out to the side. We've done 1 minute. Glutes drawing back, hip flexors on the way forward. Into our last 20 seconds. Just doing a few more. And recover. Okay, just slowly coming up onto your feet. And we'll go the other direction with the shoulders so I don't forget which way we went before. So we're going to go backwards, no, forwards this time. See, I've forgotten already. Okay, forwards. So ready? So going through that full range. Get all the way back and over. Yeah. Yes. Good. 20 more seconds. Remember, we're not trying to rush this, so almost the slower the better. 10 more seconds. Let's do one more. And relax. Okay, back down onto your mat for me. Same position. Okay, right, now this pelvis position is really important. Again, both feet pointing forwards, knees pointing forwards. Get your kind of your index finger onto your pelvis. Thumb, rib cage, try and balance out. It's easier to do this when you haven't got a top on because you can really see. Okay, and then all I want you to do without changing, without tilting at all, is take your right leg onto your left knee. Okay, now see if you've tilted to the side. If you have, you need to balance out. Okay, and then without doing anything, you're going to gently press that right knee out. Feel the stretch in the hip. And we're just going to hold this for 1 minute. Now you need to clearly check in. It is, if you're doing this and you're not on video and you don't want to do it, just take your top up and then you can see whether you're twisting. And make sure everything stays nice and level. Because if you twist, you're just cheating. So if you keep everything neutral, what you'll see is you'll clearly see if there's a difference between the right and the left side when we come to do the other side. Keep pressing out, you'll feel the stretch in the right hip. And keep pressing out. One in 5 seconds, and we're going to switch sides. Keep a note of how this feels on this side. Okay, then gently come back to the middle. Okay, now checking on that pelvis, take the left foot. This is where I like to start to cheat. And then press the left. Now my left's a lot more stuck than the right side. That's what I'm working on at the moment. So I just keep pressing out. But now I can feel a clear difference between right and left. If there is, then you know that there's some kind of imbalance going on. Just keep pressing out. You can put your hands wherever you want to. You can just keep checking in that that pelvis is nice and balanced both sides. If you rotate the pelvis, it's really easy to get that hip out. You won't feel the difference there between right and left. Keep holding. Ten more seconds left. And relax. Okay, now I want you to switch sides again. So just checking on the pelvis. This time, without letting the pelvis rock, lift the knee up. Okay, and your lower leg should be 90-degree bend, should be parallel to the floor. Then you're pulling in. You're not holding it, so we are working on the hip flexors for strength on the left-hand side as well. And you'll feel the stretch in that right hip. And hold. Make sure your pelvis isn't rocking to the side. Just quickly check in. Feel the stretch in the right hip. Feel the strength in the hip flexors. 15 more seconds. And gently come down, change position. Check in, everything's level. Put that left ankle on. Make sure you don't rotate and then lift up the other leg. The right hip flexor, we're working strength, left hip, we're mobilizing. And hold. You can also feel the pressure on your sit bones. You know, if all the pressure's on one side, you know that you're rotating. And you're gently pulling that right leg in towards the body to get that stretch in the left hip. 15 more seconds. It can be quite hard work holding this leg up, so just do the best that you can. 5 more seconds. And slowly down. Okay, come back up to standing for me. Okay, this time I want you to bring your hands, your fingers onto the front of your head, your thumbs down on the side of your face. Okay, and you're bringing your elbows together. And I want you to take your elbows back and then bring it together. What I don't want you to do is drop the head. If you drop the head, it's cheating. Okay, so if you do this, you're cheating. Okay, so you've got to stay looking forwards. So if your elbows don't quite touch together, keep the correct position and just work through what range you've got. Don't lean forwards. Yeah. We're doing this for 1 minute as well. Except I've forgotten what time we started on, so it'll be roughly 1 minute. Might be a little bit longer. Let's do 10 more seconds. And recover. Okay, back down onto the ground. Same position for me. Right, so again, find that position for me. Hip width apart with the knees, everything's pointing forwards. Okay, now I want you to bring the soles of your feet together. Okay, and then you're just going to let the knees go out to the side. Again, make sure the weight is even on both of your butt cheeks, so you're not leaning to one side, and you're just going to hold that position. Okay, you're gently pressing the knees down towards the ground. So it's like reclining pigeon that we do in gravity yoga. But what I want you to look at is the right leg or the left leg higher off the ground than the other. Okay, and you must be in a neutral position so you're not rolling to one side. Okay, if it is, we know we've got an imbalance again. Now I just want you to try and gently push the knees towards the ground, very gently, because we're holding this for 1 minute again. So you don't want to force anything. Try to gently press into the ground. Your hands can be wherever you're comfortable. If it's a big difference between sides, you can try and even it out by not by rotating, but bringing the side that's lower to the ground just slightly up and trying to balance things out. Otherwise, just gently press into the ground. Let's do 20 more seconds. Relax, gently bringing them back together. Okay, right, over onto all fours. So work on the thoracic spine to finish off. Right, now, what I want you to do, this is a bit like thread the needle that we do in gravity yoga, so, well, it is the same thing. I want you to be even on all fours, so the pressure through both knees is the same, okay? And what you're going to do is take, without rotating, I want you to take your arm through, okay, so we're not rotating, without changing the pressure on the knees, drop the arm through, and then you're going to come up and you're going to twist, okay? And we're going to do, just keep going with that. We're trying to keep the pressure even throughout the knees. You're not putting all the weight onto one knee. Just kind of pause at the bottom for a second, get a feel for it. And then notice that rotation, because I'm going to ask you to see if you think there's a difference on the other side. Let's do one more. Okay, right, now you're going to switch sides. Pressure even through both knees. Are you much freer on one side than the other? If you are, there's an imbalance to work on it. When there's an imbalance, it generally means that some muscles are under a lot more strain than other muscles, and over time, that can often result in injury. Let's do one more on this side. And relax. Okay, right, over onto your bow, just finish with one. More exercise. Okay, let's cross the knee over, okay? And then we're going to go all the way over to touchdown if you can, and then back again. This time, obviously, I do want you to rotate. Remember, imbalances occur from just general lifestyle, how you hold your body, past injuries, what you do, what you spend time doing during your day, all sorts of things. Challenge your body. And change sides. What we're always trying to do is mobility is trying to restore balance to the body. So we're trying to restore as much symmetry between from one side to the other. And back to the center. You're done. I hope that was good. I don't know if it highlighted anything for you, but hopefully you enjoyed it. All right, see you later, guys. Thanks for coming.